Wouldn't you like to pause from your busy day and listen in to experts and homeschool parents like you about the beautiful world of homeschooling? This podcast is designed just for you. Each episode connects you to the best conversations that will give you courage and fill your cup so you can keep pouring into your family every single day. Introducing the Hey Mama Homeschool Show, brought to you by the old Schoolhouse, your trusted homeschool partner for over 20 years.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hey Mama Homeschool Show. I'm Christine, and I'll be your host this week. Just to introduce myself, I am a homeschool mom of two boys who are 10 and 6 right now. I also have the privilege of working for the Canadian Schoolhouse and schoolhouseteachers.com, and they are both divisions of the old Schoolhouse. Our topic today is, should preschoolers be homeschooled? And so when I thought about this title, my obvious answer was, well, of course, yes. But I can't leave it there. That wouldn't make much for a podcast episode. So let me tell you why I think you should. And it's sort of, my answer obviously stems from my personal experience. Both of my boys started learning at an early age, and I want to say as early as age 2 or 3 is when they started to show an interest in learning. And by that I mean, they were drawn to things. They were interested in books. And of course, at age 2 and 3, they can't read words, but they can look at pictures. And pictures are all about colors, shapes, people, depending on what the books were about. And you started to see, the wheels turning in their heads when they were looking through, page by page. And, if they were able to express it, they would start asking questions. What's this? What's that? And, making connections. Oh, I've seen this thing out there in my world. And so these are the cues that told me, maybe I need to start being intentional about what they're being exposed to. Another thing that they were drawn to is building things. So, for example, the building blocks were one of the things that they loved to do. They would sit for hours and just build different things, knock it over, but then go back and build it again. And they were very curious. And so I told myself, I had to remind myself that this is something that I need to pay attention to. And this started them on a journey of learning at an early age. And let me say right here that just because my kids started really early doesn't mean that all kids start early. Everyone learns at their own pace. They start at different ages, so don't feel any sort of pressure of having some sort of major schooling planned for your preschooler. But I will tell you that it is important for you to create a learning atmosphere so that when it does start to click, you're ready. And I do have some friends in the public school system, and so I wanted to pick their brain a bit. Some of them work in some of them have worked in daycare, some of them work with kindergarten ages. So I picked their brain on this topic, and I will share with you some points that they shared with me. So many of them have agreed that doing small educational activities at home prepares the child for learning when they start kindergarten. One of my friends in the public school system says that you can always tell when a parent is teaching them at home. And these are the students who are ahead of the others. And, it's simple things like knowing how to hold their pencils correctly, recognizing letters and numbers, and just basic self-help skills. That comes from you as a parent teaching them at home. And so, hey, for us homeschoolers, we keep them home. And so we can do the same thing and build on that even more. So this means that we're preparing them in the same way to not only get in the practice of learning at this early age, but to start that love of learning, which is so important. So one of the points that, I wanted to drive home is that, preschool is really all about learning through play. And that can come in a variety of things. So again, don't feel pressure that you have to have some, textbook type of set curriculum for your preschooler, unless they have shown an interest in that they could probably handle an actual curriculum. Because I could tell you for my first boy, he just thrived, through doing fun activities and exploring new things. And then he eventually got into reading. But my second one was, I could recognize that I could actually buy a preschool curriculum, and we did, and it worked. So, get to know your child as they're playing, as you're sitting with them. Some of the things, obviously make sure you're doing fun activities because you want to make sure that they're interested. Adding music to your day is great for that age. Reading to them is going to, one, encourage them to learn things. They're going to hear your voice. They're going to start copying you when they read. I know my 6-year-old right now, he will mimic certain characters while he's reading, and it's just so fun to see. I know he's not in preschool, but he started this when he was much younger, and he still does it today. And so it's just so interesting to see what they carry and just the things, how they perceive things in their heads and what kind of sticks as they grow older. And he's a great reader. If you want somebody to read you a story, he's the best person for it. He does the voices and everything. And then, like I said, you want to create that learning environment where they can just explore. And so I wanted to give this comparison. It's like when we teach them how to eat. They're moving off the milk and they're moving on to solids. And, we don't want them to just be stuck with one flavor because they're never going to learn to appreciate all the food around them. And we'll never know, what they like, what they don't like. We have to try. So we encourage them, one day it's peas, one day it's carrots, one day it's bananas. And so they develop this taste for different kinds of food. And it's the same thing with learning. This is the age where they're exploring. And so, you put the different activities in front of them and give them the different opportunities to ask questions, and engage their senses. Let them see things, let them hear things, let them feel things, and, give them that positive encouragement that, hey, I'm so glad you tried this. And then let's try this new thing. So things like Play-Doh is great. My kids loved Play-Doh, and boy, the Play-Doh crumbs in the carpet were not my favorite part of it, but they were so creative in what they made. And you'd be surprised, just even giving them a piece of paper and some crayons. You can do, okay, let's draw a dog, let's draw a cat. But then sometimes just giving them that blank piece of paper and say, draw something and let them use their imaginations. This is so good for them. And, even doing those things, you're identifying colors, you're identifying shapes, you're learning how to hold a pencil or a crayon properly in your hand. Another thing that you can do is using building blocks, like my boys did. And one of the things that I did, I got these little stickers And so we were using the Mega Blocks. So these are a little bit bigger than regular Lego because obviously we don't want them to swallow them. Like for a single block, I would put a sticker that said number one. And for 2 block brick, I put 2. And so then we would actually count. And, sometimes they were just like, no, I just want to build, whatever. But eventually they kind of noticed the numbers and then they started adding. Well, 1 plus 2 equals how many blocks do we have? 3. And it was just as simple as putting stickers on the side of the blocks. So you never know, just something simple that they're doing. Puzzles are great. Um, and again, like things like playing outside, exploring nature, bike riding, all of these things help develop fine and gross motor skills, hand-eye coordination, concentration, and thinking. So when we are homeschooling, we can do these kinds of things of adapting as they learn. So when you're seeing that they're learning a particular skill, you can be intentional about building upon that, and thinking, okay, what else can I do to sharpen this skill now? Now that they've grasped what this skill is, how can I build it? And you get to learn more about their strengths as they develop. And how great is this to be able to watch their strengths develop because they are at home. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I used to work in the public school system many, many years ago. And I was working in a school for high risk special needs teenagers. So they were very low functioning. These were teenagers who didn't know the alphabet. And so to see, after a few months of working with some of these students and, watching the joy in their face as they develop skills, learned how to read books, just recognize, parts of their body even and colors and shapes and just basic information that we take for granted. And I mean, now that I think back, I was the one who got to enjoy those successes, not the parents. And so I have a deeper appreciation for being around my children and being able to see their development, see them accomplish different skills. Because especially when they are younger, it's a big deal when they can write a word or they've tried to read this word and they can read it finally. It's a big deal, and I am so grateful that I get to be a part of that and I get to see this. And so, consider all of this if you are teaching your preschooler. You're going to be reinforcing a healthy routine, just like you did with, teaching them to eat properly, teaching them to eat, 3 times a day. You taught them how to, go to sleep on time, the importance of sleeping. You're going to be teaching them learning. You're going to be teaching them a learning routine. And so this is going to be setting them up for as they get older and they really start doing, grade school work and really start developing their skills. You're putting them on the path for success. So don't make the mistake of thinking it's too early to start learning. Because if we're really honest with ourselves, they already are. So I hope these little points are helpful to you. If you are in this boat, thinking about starting with your preschooler, take it from me. You can. It's totally okay to start doing this. And you can check out the show notes. And we have some more resources for you, some more articles to encourage you with. And I wanted to mention some other homeschooling resources for you. Did you know that you can access the current issue of the old Schoolhouse magazine and more anytime and any place. You can search and share articles from a decade of back issues. The content is updated weekly, so you should definitely see what it's all about by downloading the TOS app today at Google Play or the Apple Store. Another resource is schoolhouseteachers.com. So if you are considering what to buy for your 2023-2024 curriculum, you need to check out schoolhouseteachers.com. If you sign up today, you can receive a stunning tote bag mailed to your door, and you get to choose the style and the color. And what's even more, your tote comes stuffed with a back issue of the old Schoolhouse magazine. This is US only and while supplies last. So this is something that you're interested in. Make sure you hurry because there are limited quantities available. And another resource for you is a website called homeschoolingfinds.com. This is your destination for reliable information on products and resources that you can use in your homeschool. This is brought to you, of course, by the Old Schoolhouse, and homeschoolingfinds.com is the place to find your new favorites. So don't forget to check that out today, homeschoolingfinds.com. So again, I'll just remind you that you can check out the show notes for this episode and for past episodes at homeschoolshow.com. And you'll find links to articles, resources, courses, and more. I wanted to mention just a few of those article links that you'll find on the homeschoolshow.com page. One of them is called A Gentle Approach to Preschool. Another one is Building the Foundation, Social and Emotional Activities for Preschoolers. So again, not just academic skills, you're teaching them social and emotional skills as well. Another one is organizing your preschooler and your preschool. So I know organization is a big deal, especially when you're just getting started out with homeschooling. So I'm sure you'll find some tips in there. And again, I mentioned learning through play. There is an article titled just that, Learning Through Play. So you'll want to check those plus more all on the show notes for this episode on homeschoolshow.com. So I'm going to let you know what's coming up in the next few episodes. We're going to have Will My Child Always Struggle with Spelling? Next, we're going to have art and photography. And then we're going to have a special episode called When Mamas Cry. I know I will be listening in on that one. We hope you are enjoying the Hey Mama Homeschool Show. Don't forget to subscribe on the platform that you are listening to so you don't miss a single episode. God bless, and we'll talk to you again soon.